Everyone's so nice. Like, everyone that we've met, I feel like in the industry is really nice.
We've never had a bad experience with anybody.
But also sometimes you think about, like, okay, why are people nice? Because I think some people don't have that experience.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, maybe if you have followers, they're nice to you, but it's like, if you don't have followers, what's the interaction? You know what's crazy? A couple years ago, I went to Vegas for the Super Bowl, and I didn't actually go to the Super Bowl, but I was with Celsius, and we were going to different events surrounding the Super Bowl, so it was really fun. And Kenzie couldn't go because she wasn't 21, so I brought my friend, and some guy came up, and he asked me, like, what I do, and I was like, oh, I'm in social media, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then I introduced him to my friend, and he was like, oh, what do you do? And then she said what she did, and she's not really in the entertainment industry, and he, like, completely wrote her off and just stopped talking to her.
And walked
and he
away.
was like, oh. And then just, like, stopped talking, and I was like...
It's a very...
I, like, was shocked. And I felt so bad because I was like, girl, like, it's nothing that you're doing. He's literally just a douchebag and doesn't care about any... It's so transactional. I think this industry is very transactional, and it's really sad. But people don't see you as a person. They're like, oh, what can I gain from you?
Welcome to the Big Sis Energy podcast, your go-to space for real talk, unfiltered advice, and all the tea you didn't know you needed. We're your hosts, Mackenzie
and Malia, aka your internet sisters. We're just here to walk through our early 20s with y'all in real time. We'll chat about relationships, personal growth, no sugarcoating, just the good stuff.
And this season, we're not holding back, so grab your drink, get comfy, and let's chat. It's time to step into your Big Sis Energy.
You ready?
Wait, is this thing on? Happy Sunday, everybody.
Welcome back, or welcome to Big Sis Energy.
We are so excited for today. So we have basically every podcast episode till October planned out. But there's an episode that was for later that we had a random encounter, and it reminded me of this episode, and I was like, we need to talk about this now.
I feel like it's kind of a hot topic a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
We're talking about content creators, influencers, what it's like living in Los Angeles, going to influencer events, brand trips, what it's been like as content creators the past 6 years, how we got started.
Influencer lifestyle. We also have some assumptions that y'all wrote in that we're going to read a little bit later in the episode. So we're going to be answering those assumptions, talking a little bit about our perspective. I don't know, what it's like being an influencer and what we do on a day-to-day, because I feel like it varies.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that goes into being a content creator, and there's also a lot that you see from other creators, whether good or bad.
I think it's interesting because Malia and I are new to LA still. We're like a year into this. Most of our friends are not content creators. Well, not that they're not content creators, because like they be making content. Low key, I'm like, yeah.
But it's not like their full-time job.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that for us, like going to these events with only influencers around, it's a bit of a culture shock, I'd say.
Yeah. It's interesting because I feel like from my perspective, going and seeing people like film content and like do certain things, it kind of has made us up our content a little bit, because it's like, wow, I see the quality, I see what they're doing. Like, you kind of take
inspiring.
You take inspo from other people, and I'm like, oh wait, like y'all really have your stuff together.
We'll be out at an event or something, and someone has like a new tripod or some type of camera, and I'm like, oh, y'all are like locked
the whole
in.
Lighting setup. Like, that's why their videos are tea, because they have everything ready to go.
Exactly. So that's one thing I think being around people who are in the same industry as us is very inspiring. And I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions, but also some true assumptions.
Yes.
So that being said, let me tell you guys the story. We were at a fashion event. Basically, it's like a showroom. So you can come in, the brand invites you, and they let you pick out some clothes.
You're basically shopping for free. So
it's crazy.
You get free goodies, and it's like, what? How am I here?
How did we get here?
Yeah.
I don't know why or how, but I'm grateful. Okay? So we're there. They do these, like, emblems? What are they called? The patches.
Oh, like embroidering the...
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a tank top that we were embroidering, and we were in line, and I was asking the girl that was helping us embroider the tops, and I was like, hey, how's your day going? She looks at me shocked. And I was like, is something wrong? Like, did I say something wrong? And she's like, no one has asked me how my day has been. Like, that's so not common.
And we were there midday, so there was like time earlier in the day for people to be there.
And I was like, that's so sad.
I know.
To me. I was like, that's so sad that no one has talked to her like a human being.
Yes. And that's kind of what we gathered from the event, because a lot of the girls that were working there, they seemed so stressed. And I was talking to a few of them. We were here the day before setting up all day. for this to look perfect, and it looked perfect. Like the details were on point.
It looked perfect.
I feel like that's one thing about even brand events or brand trip. You really notice the detail that these brands put into what they're setting up, whether it's like product placement, whatever it is. They do such a good job, and it's so detail oriented that it amazes me every time. I'm like, wow, they really thought about it,
because they want it to be picture perfect.
Yes,
so when we walk in, we're taking pictures. We're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And
I'm so grateful to be there.
We see all the details. So, of course, we want to take pictures of it. But also, that's why we're there, is to get content.
Absolutely.
Of everything spread out, all the products, those types of things. So, even at brand trips, usually brands will have like your name on the mirror.
There's like crazy so many tiny things that it's just like, I feel so spoiled because they really take care of you.
But I think, that being said, people who have been in this industry a long time, that's normal to them. Mm-hmm. So that can kind of create this sense of entitlement, I want to say.
Yes.
I'm like, I'll tread lightly here, but that's overall what I would call it, is some people who maybe they grew up and they always had money, their parents had money. I don't know what it is, or maybe you didn't grow up with money. I don't know. But I sense there's sometimes some entitlement from people that are in this industry.
And it depends, because not everyone's like that, but there are people. Like, there's a stereotype for a reason, and some of it is true, for sure.
I want to say one thing. Beauty events, usually makeup brands, I have met the sweetest, kindest, most genuine and authentic girls at beauty brand events. And hair
beauty
events.
And hair. Yes.
But the fashion scene is a little different. I don't know if there's a reason for that. It's just so interesting.
Yeah, that's so true. And I don't know why that is. I don't know, because I feel like with beauty, it's like, oh my gosh, girl, like, I love your blush. Or, you know?
Yes,
so everyone's kind of like girl vibes, versus fashion can maybe be a little bit more competitive. We've noticed that even, we went to New York Fashion Week one time, and I think that was the last time. I'm not saying I would never go again, but it's just the vibes that the fashion industry gives off, and I think the people surrounding it just seems too competitive, and like they're trying to be better than you, and it's just this weird energy that it's not uplifting.
It's not uplifting. Whereas other, like, makeup and hair, always uplifting.
Yes.
Because it's very diverse and it's very inclusive.
Yes. And I always leave feeling like, oh my gosh, that was so much fun. Like, I had a good time, and everyone there was so nice.
Yes.
An event can make or break an event when people are nice or not.
A certain
way. Like the certain types of people that they invite.
One thing about Malia and I's content, you know exactly who we are from our content. And people ask, actually, y'all know Hazel, my braiding queen. I love her so much. Hazel, if you're watching this, you know how we feel about you, okay? She's been our day one braider since day one. But she's amazing. She said that people will come in and ask, like, so how are Mackenzie and Malia, like, off camera? Like, what are they really like? And I think
guys, we're the same.
It's interesting because Malia and I I'm not going to say we're not talking to the camera, but because we're sisters, we're kind of talking to each other.
Yeah.
So how you see us in our videos really is how we are, because we're talking to each other and the camera happens to be there.
And you know what's interesting too? We were talking about this, but like sometimes you have to phrase things a certain way in a video for it to do well, whether it's like a hook. But
people have such a short attention span.
Some people have like a completely different like persona online, and they're like completely different in person.
Yeah, that's true. And I think you can normally tell who it would be, though.
Yeah.
I think if you think somebody's genuine and authentic, they usually are.
Yeah.
Usually a lifestyle creator who vlogs their day, you can see their personality. I think it's more so people who don't show their personality in their videos. It's sometimes like hit or miss.
Yes, that's so true.
But honestly, I'm not gonna lie, until that one event, the girl that was working with the brand had said that about, thank you so much for asking about how my day is going. When she said that, there was a girl that low-key bumped into me and cut the line and tried to get her shirt embroidered, like right next to me. And I was like, if you're in a time crunch, I understand, but like there's no need to like bump me. It's just things like that where I'm like, sis, it's just not that deep.
Yeah. It's funny too because everyone's so nice. Like everyone that we've met, I feel like in the industry is really nice.
We've never had a bad experience with anybody.
But also sometimes you think about like, okay, why are people nice? Because I think some people don't have that experience.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, maybe if you have followers, they're nice too. But it's like, if you don't have followers, what's the interaction? You know what's crazy? A couple years ago, I went to Vegas for the Super Bowl, and I didn't actually go to the Super Bowl, but I was with Celsius, and we were going to different events surrounding the Super Bowl, so it was really fun. And Kenzie couldn't go because she wasn't 21, so I brought my friend, and some guy came up and he asked me like what I do, and I was like, oh, I'm in social media, you know, blah blah blah. And then I introduced him to my friend, and he was like, oh, what do you do? And then she said what she did, and she's not really in the entertainment industry, and he like completely wrote her off and just stopped talking to her
and walked
and he was
away.
like oh, and then just like stopped talking. And I was like,
it's a very
I like was shocked, and I felt so bad because I was like, girl, like it's nothing that you're doing. He's literally just a douchebag and doesn't care about any. It's so transactional. I think this industry is very transactional, and it's really sad, but people don't see you as a person. They're like, oh, what can I gain from you?
Yeah.
And that's so sad because to me, I was like, oh, he seemed nice, you know, kind of. But then when he did that to my friend, I was like, what is wrong with you?
It feels like a social ladder. People are just trying to get to the next step.
Yeah.
They're always trying to get to the next step. And I think I've never met a big creator who's that way.
Yeah, that's
if
so
you
true.
are comfortable, confident in what you do, and secure, and you're not constantly trying to chase the next big thing, most of those people that you see that are like big time creators, they're extremely nice, usually very humble, very genuine. They come across the same way that they do in their videos, but I think it's the people who are still trying.
It's like they've already made it, so it's like they have nothing to prove.
For real, they have nothing to prove. And I think it's the people that are trying to still climb this ladder that it can seem transactional and superficial. That's what I've gauged from events and like being in LA now.
But that just shows their character too. It's just, I don't know.
Well, I think that can come across in people's videos though. Everybody's trying to accomplish their dreams, right? And being able to do that through social media is the biggest blessing. But I think you can see sometimes when people put on a persona and they're trying to get somewhere, and it can come off wrong.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
True.
Because I think, okay, this also brings us to how Malia and I even got started. So if you're new and you don't know how Malia and I started, we're going to get into that today, which I'm super excited about because we haven't talked about like our story in a while.
It's been a minute, honestly.
So yeah, I'm excited. I always, if I see a comment that's like, I've been here since the golden hour skateboarding videos, I'm like,
y'all have seen some things.
The cringe that you've seen, I'm just so sorry.
But I'm glad that you stuck around.
I'm glad that you saw past the cringe.
Yeah,
like, thank you so
for
much.
The long haul.
And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, we'll explain.
We'll get into it.
So Malia and I accidentally stumbled into social media.
Yeah.
I always say this, but we're literally two girls from Arizona that have no idea like how we got here. And I think that explains it pretty well. Like, genuinely, Malia and I never had this like master plan to do content together.
Yes.
And
although we did love content, it's funny because we say that, but we grew up making like the iMovie videos. I feel like that's kind of a part of everyone's childhood a little bit. But like the, you know, the little horror templates that you would make, and it was like with your friends. So we used to make those, and then we used to make like YouTube videos. We would copy like the Dolan twins when we were like,
we thought we were the girl versions of the Dolan twins.
Yeah,
like that's what we thought.
We were like, what are we doing?
Which one did you think you were? You were probably Ethan.
I don't know.
Because Grayson's a little crazier. Like, I was totally Grayson.
Bro, I love them so much. They were like, that was one of the reasons why I love social media. Because I was like, oh, they're so creative and they just make it look so fun.
They never changed. They were always themselves, no matter how much money they made, no matter how many subscribers they had.
Yeah.
They were always themselves, and you could just tell.
It was really inspiring. And at least that's how it seemed like, that's how it came across on camera, you know?
Absolutely.
But yeah, then TikTok became an app in 2019, and Mackenzie was like, girl, we should make a little dance video. And I was like, I don't know, because I was scared to kind of put myself out there a little bit, even though we were making YouTube videos. But for some reason, it being a new app and I just wasn't really familiar with it, it kind of scared me a bit. And she was like, okay, let's just do a little dance video. And I was like, okay. So she convinced me. We made a dance video, and I think it got 60,000 views overnight. And we were like, oh, like that's kind of crazy.
It was crazy. And I remember waking up the next morning and being like, what the heck?
It was so random, and we didn't expect anything from it.
And all the comments were like, are you guys twins? Are you guys twins? Are you guys twins? So I'm like, Malia, what's going on? Everyone thinks we're twins. Like, of course we've gotten twin comments
and
our whole life.
We've been knowing that because like random people when we go out think we're twins.
Yep.
Especially when we were younger.
Yeah, that's so true. I feel like we don't look as much alike anymore.
Yeah.
If anything, you and Michaela, our younger sister, we're triplets.
Like, we have the same face.
Twins. I don't know why I said triplets. Yeah, y'all are twins.
Yeah.
But so we didn't post again for 3 months. So that was August 2019. We didn't really post again until the fall. Honestly, actually November. November we started posting again.
And that's when we had like a crazy viral video.
Yep. And we were like, oh, are we doing something? What's happening? So we duetted Charlie D'Amelio and Dixie D'Amelio because they at the time looked very similar, but they weren't twins. And they had, what was the song? Oh yeah, I might let my team from walking.
Yeah, whatever song was trending at the time.
Yeah, so we duetted them. And Malia was like, Mackenzie, this is so cringe. Like, please don't make me do this. Don't post it, please.
And the crazy thing is 2020 was so cringe. Looking back on it, there was really the only thing that was trending was thirst traps.
Yeah.
So that's basically what everyone had to do because I felt
I
like
said what they had to do.
No, not for real. Because like we would make creative content and it would do well depending on the type of video that we made. But usually it was the thirst traps that did well. So then we caught ourselves doing thirst trap videos.
They weren't that bad though, because we were
they
like,
weren't anything crazy, but it was just like
it was just okay. Honestly, our thirst traps were just lip syncing videos.
But there's no substance to the video, you know.
There's no personality. There's no substance. There, you couldn't tell like, you know, who Malia and I were as people.
Yeah.
Literally, it was just us lip syncing.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we duetted Charlie and Dixie D'Amelio, and the video went so viral, 5 million views, and the next day all the comments are loading in and I'm reading them. I'm like addicted. Oh my gosh, like why is there so many views? Like why is there so many comments? It does
get so addicting because I remember we used to work at a daycare and I was refreshing it every second. Like anytime that I had off, like I had like a break period. Because
it's like nap time and you're like, oh my god.
Because the only time you can really be on your phone is during nap time when the kids are sleeping. So I was like scrolling on my phone, refreshing the likes and comments, and I was like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, I had no idea. And I was like, Malia, I knew we should have posted this video. Like, I'm so glad we did. I took like full accountability for that. But all the comments were like, this is Charlie and Dixie on dark mode. And Malia and I were like,
oh. We were like, we'll run with it though.
Yeah, I was like, we'll run with it. Okay.
No one was actually being mean though, because everyone was still nice.
I thought it was kind of funny. I'm not gonna
hilarious.
lie. I thought it was. I had a good giggle. I know I just did a fake laugh, but I think I actually laughed.
And that's why I love TikTok, because the video can be like a regular video, but then the comments just make it even funnier. Know?
The comments make the videos.
They do.
That's so true. Because sometimes I'll even just like go to the comments instead of actually watching the video.
Me too.
You know, like I'll go straight to the comments. But that being said, you guys, after that video, so November 2019, Malia and I were like, okay, well, people think we're twins. Like, let's just make content about that.
Yeah.
So we made so many videos being like, we're not twins.
And people did not believe us.
No one believed us because we always wore like messy buns.
We would twin basically. So we'd wear like the same outfit, same hairstyle.
Usually
everything.
It wasn't even on purpose though.
Yeah. Some of it was. There was one video where we had our messy buns and then we both wore like black sweatsuits.
Yep. There was a duplicate filter where you could basically see yourself as a twin. But Malia and I would put the filter at like the first 0.5 seconds of the video.
To make it seem like it was a filter.
To make it seem, and then we would like touch each other or like hold hands or something like that to make you realize that it wasn't a duplicate.
Yeah.
And that there were two people. So there was one trend that we did, and it was like you and I looking directly at each other, so it looked like a mirror.
It was really trippy.
And we'd go like this, and then at the end we like held hands, so you realized
it wasn't.
It was a real person next to me.
There was a lot of good trends like that, especially when we were starting. We were like, oh, we gotta do this.
And it was some of the videos that we made. It would take like 5 seconds to make, and those were the ones that went crazy viral.
Yeah, and then the videos where it took us like hours to make, they would flop. So we're like, I guess we'll just pick up the phone and film whatever.
Because at that time, it wasn't serious for us. It was just, okay.
It wasn't serious for anybody, honestly.
No.
I feel like no one was treating TikTok like it was a...
for real thing.
Yeah, or like trying to be a content creator or whatever it was. It was just everyone kind of goofing off on an app because it was during quarantine too.
That's true.
So it's like we were all just bored.
That we were all bored. It just felt like we were doing it for fun because that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
And we were having so much fun with it. So that was November 2019. I remember Christmas 2019. We told our whole family, we're like, guys, we have like 50,000 followers on TikTok.
And they're like, what's TikTok?
Everyone's like, what the freak is TikTok? And we're like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Everyone's like, all right, like, okay.
So by February 2020, we had like 500,000 followers. So we went from 50K to 500,000 followers in the span of 2 months, 3 months.
The growth during that time was insane to me.
And it was all from videos of us lip syncing. Like
Yeah,
it was like completely on accident.
it really was.
We weren't really making personality content. Like, it's not like we were doing fun get ready with me's. It was just, that's what was trending at the time, were like those lip syncing videos.
And it worked because like we didn't really have to put too much effort into the videos because we were working at the time. So it was just like, oh, we got home from work, made a little video, and then posted it. And then that was really it.
So at that time, we were 15 and 16. We were in high school, but we did online. So we would usually do school from like 9 a.m. to 12 or 1 because we could kind of get it done a little bit quicker. And then we worked at a daycare. So we'd go to work from 1 to 6. And then, although at 15, my hours were 3 to 6 because I couldn't.
And I could work from 1 to 6 because I was
16.
Because we did online school from 8 to 12. And then I'd get ready, go to work from 1 to 6.
Yeah.
And then work out and then film a video.
Film video. So it's not like we had that much time to do it
we had
full
free time
time
anyways.
But also, people didn't realize it was going to be a job, I think, at that time because TikTok was so new.
Yeah.
Brands had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
So it was new for content creators and it was new for brands too.
Because we didn't even know you really could make money off of it. And then I think a few months down the road, when was our first ever brand deal?
In March of 2020, but we posted it in like August of 2020.
Mm-hmm. And I remember we grew so much in between that time because we didn't really know what we were doing. So the rate that we agreed upon with the brand should have been way more when it went live.
It's so funny because at that time we were 15 and 16 years old. We didn't really know what we were doing. We were just excited. We were so excited. As anyone would be, like, we were so excited. Yeah.
It was $800. And at the time, Kenzie and I were like, that would take us so long to make that money.
At the daycare. Yeah.
Like, it would take us so long. So we're like, that's an insane deal. Like, we have to take it.
So
we were so excited. But looking back now, it was like, okay, they were actually lowballing us.
No,
you know?
It's funny because I remember Googling how to negotiate. Because I was 15 years old. So, okay, 15 years old, this brand emails us. And they're like, hey, we want you to make a YouTube video, 2 TikTok videos, and then 2 Instagram posts. And Malia and I are like, okay, like, that sounds good. And they're like, how's $600? And we're like, I was like, oh, I don't know, what should I say? So I go on Google and I look up how to negotiate. And it says, ask for 20% more. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to ask for 800 and see what happens. Like, I would have taken 600, obviously. Yeah. I was like, again, that's going to take me a long time to make that type of money at the daycare.
Yeah, working part-time at the daycare.
Yeah, I was like, that's going to take me literally months to make at the daycare. Yeah. So yeah, I Googled that. I sent the brand. I was like, our rate more so looks like $800.
And they were like, deal.
They were like, sounds good because guys, this brand deal, not only, this is something I didn't know to look for back then. Yes, they asked for the content and it was quite a few deliverables, but they also asked for 2 years of usage rights. Didn't think about that. I didn't know what usage rights were.
Yeah, and those are the types of things that you don't think about getting into content creation, but the things that you learn as you go and you're like, "Oh, wait." Like there's a lot of like little things that you can charge and add-ons to your rate for certain things.
This ad was basically used as a commercial on YouTube ads, Snapchat ads, Instagram ads, TikTok ads. Everybody sent this video to us over and over and over again because they were using it on repeat for 2 years. 2 years. That's a long time.
Yeah, because I'd go watch like a YouTube video and like we'd pop up as an ad and I was like, oh.
And I was like,
they really round this up.
I don't know how much money they made from that, but they definitely got a good return on their investment.
Well, I think too, we realized that they lowballed us after we got our second brand deal and they offered us way more than what that was. And we were like, oh shoot, like this is crazy.
So that was something I just didn't take into account. Like, okay, it's not just about the videos, it's about the usage. So how long a brand can use the video for and what type of usage it is, and if they ask for exclusivity. So exclusivity is basically when a brand says, hey, we're in the skincare field or we're in the hair care field. You cannot work with any other hair care brands for X amount of time.
Yes.
Now, brands have to pay for that because it takes you out of the category.
Yeah.
So if you're saying you can't work with any hair brands for 6 months, Malia and I are like, oh, well, that's 70% of our income.
That's our whole need.
And I'm not saying like hair is actually 70% of our income, but if you look at it that way, taken out of that industry or that niche for 6 months and you're not able to get paid, you have to be compensated fairly because
Because you won't be getting
any
deals.
other deals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless it's out of that.
So if you're looking to become a content creator and you're self-managed, think about this: exclusivity, usage, and if the usage is organic or if the usage is paid.
Mm-hmm.
So paid usage and organic usage are two different things. So paid usage is when a brand basically, like we were saying, runs it as a campaign, boosts it on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, those things. They basically run it as a commercial in a way.
Yeah.
Where they're sending out millions and millions of views, so they're getting those eyes on it. Because maybe you posted an advertisement and it didn't perform the way that they might have thought that it would. They'll put views behind it, but you can also get paid for them to boost it.
Yes.
Because they're taking it, your name, your image, and your likeness, and using it for people to see, to get eyes on. So
yeah. And another thing with the exclusivity is a lot of brands will just do their competitor. So it's not like all hair brands, for instance, but like maybe it's 2 to 3 brands where they're like, you cannot work with X, Y, and Z, like these brands.
Or let's say it's drugstore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a drugstore hair product, no drugstore hair products.
Yes.
Same thing with like skincare or makeup. They'll kind of list off no brands that fall under this.
Right.
And then you can't work with those.
Usually it's for a reasonable amount of time. Like sometimes it could be crazy, but that's when you can negotiate things down. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I learned, because we have a management team now. But that's one thing I learned was don't be afraid to advocate for yourself and don't be afraid to ask questions. You're never dumb for asking questions, ever. And I think that that's so true in the business world too, because it's like you should be, if you don't know something, you got to ask, or else you're going to look back later and wish you did.
Well, and the crazy thing is a lot of people don't talk about this industry and how people make money, you know?
Because there's a lot of different income streams that you can acquire, I guess. You can do affiliate links where you're posting products you're already organically using, and then if people want to also buy them, they can be like, ooh, that outfit, I want that outfit too, like let me click that link and shop her outfit,
and then you get commission off of what people buy from whatever you post as a link.
Yep. And then there's also brand deals. I would say for us, brand deals are our biggest source of income, on top of, I would say brand deals are our biggest source of income.
Yeah.
And then there's also, you can make money through views. So revenue streams in that way, TikTok Creator Fund, YouTube AdSense, Instagram pays out, Snapchat pays out, all of those things. So
yeah. And really diversifying. I feel like that's one thing that we've learned too throughout doing social media, especially with like TikTok going back. Like TikTok's been back and forth between, is it going to get banned or not? But like,
yeah.
I think in this industry, it's so good to diversify to different apps because for one, that's a different audience. Like I would say our audience on Instagram, for instance, is a little bit different than our audience on TikTok. Yeah. And like what we post on Instagram reaches different people. So it's a different audience because some people may not like TikTok or some people may not like Instagram and they like watch YouTube Shorts. So it's like if you post all of your content, you're still making it, but you can post it everywhere. And
you don't know who's gonna hit.
It's a bunch of different
Shorts
eyes, you know,
versus
so
TikTok.
It never hurts to diversify and post it everywhere.
That's so true. That's definitely like, I feel like covers it for most of like the revenue streams that I could think of right now. I would say those are pretty standard. You can also, I think there's a lot of other ways to take the income that you have and make more money on it from investments. Mm-hmm. But that's a whole different like finance episode.
Or even like people reinvesting it into themselves, into like camera equipment, upping their quality. Like I think that's stuff that we've done over the years, not in the beginning, because you can absolutely do social media with just your iPhone. Like it's that simple.
We still film on our iPhone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Or even just like starting new things. Like there's little expenses where you wouldn't really think anything of it, but it kind of ups your quality, you know?
Or you get a return on it. So I think that's one thing for us. A lot of our videos in the beginning, we would go to Ulta and buy hair products and then show the process of us buying the hair products, finding out what we wanted to get. And then the second video was the hair tutorial, a before and after. So it's like from buying one hair product, how many videos could we make from that? That was another thing too. It's like, okay, instead of taking that money and maybe investing it in a traditional way, how can I reinvest this into ourselves and making more content for you guys. Like, that's kind of how we thought about it too, was like, okay, well, let's take the money that we got from a deal and reinvest it into making more content.
Yes.
So that's kind of how we thought about our channel, and we still do. So
Yeah. And this is kind of a crazy example, but I remember seeing a video about Mr. Beast and how much money he spends for his videos, but he makes it all back and more because of how much he's putting into his videos. Like his whole video is like a production.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I'm sure it's like millions and millions of dollars.
That's like a crazy example because that's like a lot of money. But, you know, so it's crazy to think about it like that, but it is smart to do that because then in return you're getting more views, which means more money, more partnerships, whatever it is.
Yeah.
For us, for instance, like we've been really trying to make our new townhome look really good, but I think in return, like it will also make our videos look good. And that's something like an aesthetic for social media is important. It's not everything, but it is part of it. So I think making our place look good is kind of something that we really wanted to kind of invest in because it is our space, it's our home, but also like I think it looks really good on camera.
If we weren't making content, I wouldn't care to make the townhouse look the way that it does now.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
so right.
I wouldn't be like, oh, I want my bathroom to be green.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And it's crazy too because we didn't look at it like that until our LA auntie, she's the one helping us with our townhome, but she kind of put that into perspective for us because she was like, well, your videos are gonna do better because your place is gonna look so aesthetic and it's gonna look really cute and it's just gonna look picture perfect, which is what social media is,
right?
You know,
to a certain degree. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. But even, for example, like I was thinking about our bathroom videos. We make a lot of videos through the mirror, through the bathroom, and now my bathroom's green. We have a bathroom that's black. It's like I feel like it's gonna be kind of a visual hook where people are scrolling and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't even care what she's saying.
Well, it's like I haven't seen that before. It's different.
I don't even care what she's talking about, but I like that bathroom. And I'm sure people will comment like, oh my gosh, I love the bathroom, instead of listening to what I'm saying. And maybe sometimes people will be like, oh wait, let me see what she's actually saying after they see that.
Yes.
You know, it's subconscious. And I think
there's so many little things that make videos engaging.
Social media to me is very, very interesting, and general marketing as well. There's so much psychology that goes into why someone scrolls past one video but stays and watches another. So I think that that's also something to think about if you're making content creation, how to make yourself stand out, how to make yourself come up different. And I think the way that Malia and I do that, for one, there's two of us. And I think that that's always been, like, our sister bond has kind of always been our thing.
Right.
And then another thing, Malia and I talk to each other in our videos instead of talking to the camera. So our videos seem so natural because they genuinely are.
You know what I've learned from that too? Because I think when we ever do films separately, I just pretend that I'm talking to Mackenzie or like talking to an actual person instead of a camera. Now it's taken time to get there because before it feels so incredibly awkward. You're like, why am I talking to a camera? When like it's really just you guys, but you don't think about it that way when you initially start.
Yep, that's so true because like you said, it takes time. Mm-hmm. We didn't talk on our videos for so long. We would just do the lip syncing videos. And then we started, really what started making us talk on our videos was hair. Yeah. We started our natural hair journey pretty much as soon as we started TikTok.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting to me.
We got taken out of school and we were like, well, we're not really getting ready to go to school every day, so might as well like
not straighten our hair.
Well, during quarantine too, because I was like, I don't need to straighten my hair.
I'm not gonna kill my hair if no one's gonna see it. Yeah, that was my thought process.
And then it was cool because we got to bring our followers along with our curly hair journey and help you guys, like, and all the tips that we were learning, telling other people about it, and then also vice versa. Like, people in the comments were like, hey, try this product. I'm like, oh wait, that's tea, let me try that.
Honestly, it was more so of a learning process for us than it was us giving advice.
No, for real.
Than it was us being like, oh guys, here's our tips and tricks. It was like, this is my curly hair routine, please let me know what you guys think. Do you have any tips, tricks that I could implement? And those, like, your guys' comments helped us so much. We learned how to do our curly hair from YouTube.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. Like Jasmine Brown, Lisette, like those were the girls that I always watched and learned how to do my curly hair from. Yeah. Which is, it's so cool that now that we know how to do our hair, we can kind of give advice and be able to be that for the younger generation that's like kind of
teach
growing
other
up
people.
with us.
Yeah.
Being that we straightened our hair for 4 years straight, 5 years straight, it was so damaged. That really hit my confidence. Just because I'm like, okay, well, I want to wear my hair curly, but it looks so bad. It's like barely curly anymore.
Yeah.
It's stringy. It's so damaged. I didn't even want to wear it that way. But to grow with you guys, a community that was going through the same thing, made it feel so real. It didn't feel like we were commenting back and forth with followers. It was like, no, these are our girls. Like, these are our girls that are going through the same struggles that we're going through. And it was like, Malia and I were so isolated at the time. We were doing online school. We were working at a daycare. The only people that we talked to were a lot older than us.
We grew up in a predominantly like white area, so no one really had the same struggles as us.
Yeah.
Especially with the hair thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I felt like I had to straighten my hair to fit in. Even like wearing my curly hair, I was always so scared to, or I was never confident with it. And it was because I didn't know how to do it for one, but also I was like, oh, well, like, you know, let me just straighten my hair because everyone else's hair is straight.
That is so true. And you know what's interesting to me? I was actually talking to my therapist about this. When you feel different, it affects your nervous system.
Mm.
And I thought that was so interesting because it makes logical sense.
Yeah.
And I know that's such like a subcategory that we're not even
negative, but like, why do we think that it's a negative thing to be different? Like, it's not.
Yeah. Because that was even the same with my birthmark.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was just telling Malia, being in LA has made me so much more, I think, carefree. It's like, I'm not thinking about, oh, are people looking at my leg right now and like thinking comments about it or thinking negatively about it? I'm just like, okay, well, my leg is like half white. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like, I'm not going to like change it. So let me just rock with it and own it at this point. But I think being in Arizona, it just felt like there were so many eyes. But yeah, that was definitely, honestly, a big part of our journey was growing with you guys, learning how to do our hair. And then we got so many tips and tricks that we kind of became pros at hair.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny because I remember when we did the Briogeo campaign where we were on a Times Square billboard.
That was not real.
A billboard in LA for our hair. Malia and I were like, little us wouldn't even believe that our hair was curly, let alone curly on a billboard.
That's insane. And that just goes to show you guys that social media can really take you places, and post your videos.
Post your content.
Because you don't know where it's going to take you.
Post your content. It doesn't have to be perfect. Perfection, like, destroys everything.
It really, and that's another thing that we kind of wanted to talk about, but like constantly editing your videos and having people comment about certain things, whether it's good or bad, it can be easy to get obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And then you get so like hypercritical of yourself. And you're like, oh, why did I say that? Or why did I say it this way? And then it's just like the little things that don't even matter that no one, well, some people do notice, but like you notice even more because you're always so hyper fixated on yourself because you're
editing yourself
all the time. So it's interesting.
So like before you guys see a video, I've probably watched it 15 times and I'm so annoyed by myself that I'm like, oh my gosh,
you're like I
posting this right now. But you know what I mean?
Or like something that was funny in the video, you're like, oh my gosh, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah, but then maybe some people seeing it for the first time don't have that, why did she say it like that?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
What was her tone? Like, oh my gosh.
And that's just more so like an us thing. I think just editing all the time and seeing yourself different angles, and then you get critical of yourself like in certain angles and you're like, oh, I need it to be like this and you know, whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's can get
so true.
Like tedious, but the biggest thing that I think we've learned is just being consistent.
Yeah, because I think our goal when we first started, when we were in quarantine, so not when we first started in 2019, but when we were in quarantine and all of the jobs we were working, we couldn't work at them anymore because it was lockdown, like no one could leave their house. Because we were working in retail on the weekends. We were helping our dad with his business. We worked at like a concession stand at a water park, and then we worked at the daycare. We were in school, like all of these things. And then once everything shut down, we're like, we got free time. Like let's get to let's run it up.
Yeah.
Our goal was to post 2 times a day, and I don't want to say we posted 2 times a day every day, but on average, we were posting 2 times a day every day for 5 years.
Yeah.
So to put that into perspective, I think people have assumptions about how content creation is easy. And I think there's certain parts of content creation that are very easy. But that being said, the consistency is the hardest part.
Yeah.
And I think what people don't take into account is to get to a place where you can make consistent income. That's the hard part. Once you're there, you kind of, I don't want to say it's easier because it comes with different challenges, but it's different. You don't have to post 2 times a day every single day to get an audience and build it because it's there.
Yeah, because then it's like once you have the audience, they're going to watch mostly whatever you put out. So if you're maybe taking a step back from filming and maybe only posting once a day instead of twice a day,
right,
your content will probably do well still.
We had never taken a break before. I was always scared to take breaks.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, if we don't post for like a week,
people are gonna shadow banned or something.
We'd get shadow banned, and like TikTok would literally, I want to say, flag our account and we'd be in jail. Like literally, they wouldn't put our videos on the For You page or anything like that. So when Malia, that was the only time, last summer was the only time we actually took a break.
Yeah, the break was so needed because like we weren't having fun, and I think obviously our videos, a lot of it is our personality, us having fun on camera, and that time was just so depressing that we couldn't even. There's nothing to talk about, even though it was hard because I think we were also down on ourselves. Like, okay, this is our job. We do need to be consistent, but also
health has to be your priority because if you can't show up and be the best version of yourself, like on camera, then you can't really come how you want to.
And it's gonna show. And either way, not that it's a waste of time, but it kind of is, you know? Because like if we were to make videos during that time, they would have been terrible.
Yeah.
It would have been us just like,
because I think
there wouldn't be anything there.
Saying that we took a full break is kind of like a general way to put it, like long story short. Like, of course, we gave updates. We were talking about Malia's health.
Yeah.
But it just...
weren't as consistent.
We weren't as consistent. And it was hard to make content at that time because, for one, I was like, is my sister going to be okay? Mm-hmm. You weren't feeling well.
Yeah.
It was a lot to... And that really made me realize everyone knows this job's not going to like last forever. Right? Like, people ask all the time, like, well, what's your backup plan? And like, what's this and what's that? But I think something to take into consideration when you want to start content creation, you have to basically be in a good headspace to be able to film the type of content.
Yeah.
Well, at least the kind of content that Malia and I film, because we film very much so lifestyle content. We started out doing, you know, hair tutorials, and we still do hair tutorials like every so often, but now it's like lifestyle. So it's come with us to do this. Yeah, it's like spend the day with us.
Yeah.
Get ready with us. It's us kind of living with you guys in those moments. So being able to do that in a authentic, genuine way, it wasn't feasible for us anymore because the vibes were so down.
You have to take care of yourself first. And I think that's what we did, and we had to do that. And I'm grateful that we were able to do that because I think even with a 9 to 5, I wouldn't have been able to take off a month. If anything, I feel like that's made our relationship better, and also the love for content has kind of came back. Because obviously during that time, not that I didn't like content, but I just didn't want to create it at the time. Taking that break is just kind of refreshing. It's like a new start.
Even after the break, like I would watch our old videos from a couple years ago, from a year ago, 3 years ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this was so fun. I remember this day, and it's just good memories. And I think looking back to content that we were trying to make before we took the break, I was like,
what are we doing?
Like it just, it wasn't the same because our energy was simply not there. Imagine like losing a loved one and you're grieving. It's hard to show up the way you want to show up.
Yeah.
Imagine being sick and your energy's down and low and you're depressed because you feel so sick. You don't know if you're going to get better. You can't show up how you want to. And I think that that's a harsh reality that like you have to be well to show up the way that you want to, because for one, it's not even the comments. It's not even people being like, what changed? Y'all are so different. The content was better in Arizona. It's not even those comments. It's the self-realization when you're watching your own videos that you don't like what you see. You don't like how you're showing up. You know you're not coming the way you were 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And you know people are going to comment about it. So it's like an insecurity you already have that now people are also pointing out. And you're like, oh, that's confirmation. Yeah, our videos were better in Arizona. Yeah, we did have better energy back then. It's
and I think
like,
that could be for any job too, because like all of those things and like bad circumstances can happen when you're working a 9 to 5, and it's like you still got to show up and do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the difference is, though, you can still show up and do what you need to do, but it's not surrounded around your life. Our content
and your personality
is surrounded by our life and our personality.
Yeah, because then you're kind of just acting.
And that's always what we say. I'm like, we aren't actors. I'm like, maybe if we took up acting one day, that would be cool. But like, that's not how we would come in our videos.
Right.
I always gravitate towards people on social media that I feel they come and show up very genuine and authentic, because it's easier to relate. And I'm like, oh, I feel like we're friends. If I were to meet you in person, I'd be like, hey, sis, like, we're kind of besties, aren't we? Which I think is interesting, because I actually saw a video about this, but like parasocial relationships. I think that's how they said it. But basically, being on social media and people knowing who you are, but you not knowing who they are, is very interesting. So when people come up and they think that we know them, but they know us, it's so interesting, because every time I meet y'all, I be like acting like I know y'all, because I see y'all in the comments all the time.
No,
like I do kind of feel like I know you guys too, but not to the degree that you guys know us.
Yes.
You know what I
like,
mean?
we're not seeing every aspect of your life. It's the opposite way.
Exactly. So like people will know little things about us, or like bring up scenarios or situations. I remember one time I was in Arizona and I went through like a drive-through, and this girl was like, "Why aren't you in LA?" And I was like, oh yeah, why am I not in LA?
Oh, I do live there, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I guess I do live there, don't I? But it's just interesting, like things like that, where people know things about you, they know things about your life, they know like the circumstances and situations that you're in, so they really feel like they know you. So when they come up and talk to you, it almost feels like a friendship, but it also feels like, hey, like, nice to meet you, I'm Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Like I've never met you before, even though it feels like maybe you've met me before.
Uh-huh.
I gotta know your name, where you from. I'm like, I'd be trying to get all the tea from y'all, because this is my first time meeting you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's so good.
It is a really cool dynamic. I love meeting you guys in person, seriously.
No, me too. You guys are the sweetest people ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, actually, hands down.
One of y'all pretended to be our manager at Coachella. That was hilarious.
Like, I'm their manager.
It was, you know how sometimes people like come and take pictures at like festivals or like on the street or something, and then they're like, hey, this is $10 for the pictures? She was trying to make sure that didn't happen to us, and I was like, thanks, girl, like, you're so sweet.
She was looking out. Yes.
It's so cool, because I'm like, we got besties, like,
yes. All
hey
over. Okay, guys, we are getting into your guys' assumptions about influencers. I posted this on my story. I already knew what type of assumptions were going to be coming in, because sometimes that's what I be thinking too. So let's get into it.
That's what I be thinking too, is crazy.
Okay, first assumption, they are afraid to be themselves. I would say in certain cases, yeah. I've even struggled with this before. I think sometimes if you're maybe scared to say certain things on social media, or to a certain degree like filtered, and like filter what you say.
Yeah.
But I think once you get over that hump of actually being yourself, that's when you notice the biggest growth with your channel, because people are like, oh, like, you're pretty cool. You know?
You're pretty cool.
I think it can be scary, but it's crazy too, because there's so many different types of content where like maybe you don't have to necessarily, talk or whatever it is.
Fashion stuff, like you could just do audios and put on an outfit.
Where like if you're scared about people maybe commenting about like, I don't know, whatever it is.
I think people commenting on how you look is one thing, but people commenting about your character, who you are as a person, is another ball game. So I understand why some people might not want to put their personality or share moments about their life, their loved ones, those types of things, because you're now, whenever you post something on social media, you are giving the world the option to comment on you, whether you like it or not.
You're putting a part of yourself out there. So when people are commenting about certain things that maybe are emotional for you, then you're like, oh shoot, like, this sucks.
Because the world that we live in is very superficial, so it's kind of known that people might comment on how you look or your outfit, not liking your shoes, those types of things. But when you start putting your personality out there and your character, who you actually are, maybe your morals, those types of things, and people start commenting on them and questioning you, maybe like saying bad things about it, it feels like a personal attack because that is who you are. That's a conversation we have a lot of the time with other influencers where they say the hardest part is people telling me to kill myself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And all of these terrible things that you're ugly, you're blah, blah, blah. All of these, like, every single day you're getting comments that you should, you know, end your life. Like, that's very, very hard to deal with. And that's something that, luckily, Malia and I really haven't struggled with.
And I think, too, for a lot of people that are trying to get into content creation, that's probably their biggest fear is actually putting themselves out on the internet.
And getting that feedback back.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's such a hard thing to get over. But once you do, it's like, okay, you're chilling. I don't know. It's really you versus you.
Yep.
Because you really do have to get over yourself.
You versus the comments.
Yeah. But
so
honestly, all the negative comments are just trolls. Like,
they boost your engagement.
Nothing better to do. Yeah. And
whether you like it or not,
your engagement out. So that's all.
The hate comments are still comments. The algorithm's gonna read it and see it as a positive. So
and also your true supporters, they'll clock it for you. Okay, wait. Let's get into the next assumption. It's expensive to start.
That's interesting because I could see why people would want to. I feel like most influencers have a certain aesthetic, like the New York City high rise,
and a certain lifestyle.
Yeah,
but they probably didn't start out that way.
Yeah,
a lot of them probably didn't start out that way.
Malia and I started in our room at our parents' house, where our beds were like 3 feet apart from each other.
Yeah, you can start anywhere. All you need is a tripod and your phone.
Yeah,
and a tripod you can get $20 off Amazon.
I was gonna say we saved up our coin from the daycare and we bought ourselves like a $70 ring light.
Yeah,
and we used our phones that we also saved up for from the daycare. So
you can film on there, you can edit on your phone, so you don't need anything crazy. And eventually we bought like a ring light and stuff, and that stuff's pretty inexpensive too. Like the little the mini lights you can attach to your phone. So there's a lot of things that you can get off Amazon that are pretty inexpensive, but you really don't need much. And you don't need like a bougie place to stay. Like I think people end up maybe getting to that point because of the success that they've had on social media, but it doesn't typically start out that way.
I think if you rely on that, then what substance are you bringing to your videos? Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing because some people are just an aesthetic channel, but I think for Malia and I's videos, of course we did our lip syncing video phase, okay, but like aside from that, I feel like they've always had some substance to it, you know?
Yes.
Where we've been talking about whatever's going on in our life and we've been living with you guys. Like, that's kind of how I view it. But I feel like for that, you don't have to live a certain way. But it's also, you're going to attract a certain demographic. Right. So people who probably already, maybe they grew up wealthy and they have money, they probably want to watch people who have that lifestyle. Or they see it as an inspiration, like, oh, I want to have that lifestyle. I want to have that whatever. Mm-hmm. Versus, like, when we first started, I was also watching people who made similar content to us.
And for me, too, I feel like there's different influencers for different things. Like, there's some people where I'm like, I love their personality. I feel like we're best friends. And, like, I'll go to their channel. It's kind of like a comfort page. And then there's other girls where I'm like, oh, my gosh, their fashion is on point. Like, you know, so I would use their inspo for that. So it depends on like who you're watching.
Or a lifestyle creator where you're like, oh, I would put you on my Pinterest vision board and like I hope that my life would be like yours one day. Like, that's completely, like you said, you follow people for different reasons.
Yeah.
So don't think you have to have something to start or a certain aesthetic or lifestyle. But I do think that's a good point to mention that I feel like a lot of influencers that act the way we were talking about, kind of entitled, the reason for that is they grew up wealthy.
Yeah.
So they've kind of always had this lifestyle.
And I think people, too, that get used to the lifestyle, the influencer lifestyle, can also become that way as well, even if they didn't come from that background.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's something that we've heard a lot being in LA, whether it's from brands or other influencers. People say Malia and I are very different from influencers that they've met or that are in the industry, and I never really understood it until we lived here, because we've heard that like our whole time in social media from brands, from other content creators.
What do you mean? Like,
I didn't understand. I'm like, Malia and I are just doing our thing. Like, I don't really know what you're saying. Until we moved here, I got it. It clicked. I was like, oh.
Well, because I think everyone being in LA going to all these events, if that's your whole life, everyone's just a copy and paste of each other. Same voice, same problems, same whatever it is. And it's like, guys, like, that's not a real issue. Like, let's take a step back.
That is one thing that
let's rethink about like what just came out of your mouth.
That is one thing that slightly irks me.
Slightly is an understatement.
Is an understatement. Influencers do like to complain. A lot.
But I will say, people complain regardless. Like, I even remember like working at a daycare, people would complain. I'm like, guys, there's no reason to complain.
That is true.
Like, regardless of what your lifestyle looks like, people will always complain. But there's some problems that just aren't like worth complaining about. It's like, girl, be for real.
See, that's why I think for me it irks me so much, because I'm like,
oh my gosh,
I just couldn't imagine complaining about that. We were on a brand trip one time, and the flight back home got delayed because now y'all are gonna like lose it when I finish this story, because I lost it when it was actually happening. We had 2 flights. One flight from a smaller city back to New York. And then from New York, we were supposed to fly back to Arizona. So the flight gets delayed. We had to stay an extra night at this airport. I remember the brand saying, unfortunately, because of this weather issue that was out of their control, we can't fly back home. We're not going to be able to get business class for everybody.
That's fine.
I've never flown business class
all-inclusive paid trip.
Before this day. I had never flown business class before today. I'm going to be fine if I'm in the back of the plane, okay? Don't worry about me.
For free.
Malia and I were the only people who said that. Everyone else on the trip was like upset that they wouldn't be able to get business class back. To me, when the brand just told us that we were the only ones that said that we didn't care, that like as long as we get home safe, like,
yeah,
thumbs up for me.
The flights that they rearranged would have had to been different. So
yeah, so basically the option was you can take the same flight we were supposed to take today tomorrow, but I can't promise it's going to be business class. Yeah. And I was like, that's cool with me, like, we'll just take that one.
But it was also a straight flight.
It was a straight
flight.
The
other ones had layovers in different countries.
Yeah, so if you needed business class, guys, if you needed it, you could fly to London and then fly to this place and then this place and then get back home. So it was just like a lot more back and forth stops. So it wasn't a one way. And I was like, that sounds like a lot of extra. I'm fine with whatever way.
Yeah.
And then the brand, because Malia and I were the only ones that said that, they found a way to somehow still get us business class back.
Which was crazy. I
was like, what?
You guys are
I was
so
like,
sweet.
what the heck? But seriously, people be complaining. Yeah.
That's another assumption that I got quite a few is they're rich, they all have money, especially these brands, like they go above and beyond. They take you to a different country, business class, like all of these really bougie things. They're kind of spoiling all of us. They really are. It's like I feel spoiled.
We have never left the U.S. before we went on a brand trip.
Ever, no. Except for Mexico, but...
Yeah, except we've driven to Mexico a few times, yeah. But I think for us, it was just like, these are just opportunities that we would have never had if it wasn't for our community online that supports us.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for brands taking us there, like, we wouldn't be able to travel to these cool, amazing places. Yeah. And I think for other people, they're used to doing these things. And I don't want to bash them because, okay, in the contract, you sign and it says that the brand's going to take you business class. So it's part of the agreement. I can't see, but for the sake of the argument, I could see where you're coming from. Like, I just think, like, it's a little petty to complain about getting a flight paid for
when like all the other flights were business class. We were, drinking your champagne, like, you're good.
And I just felt really bad because the brand was talking to someone working at the airport trying to rebook flights for 25 people. Take yourself out of the scenario and think about the shoes of the person trying to book the flight.
Yeah. We were in Vegas one time, and one time we were going home to Arizona, and then there was a dust storm, I think. So we had to figure out something in Vegas, I guess. Well, they said we were gonna like get gas for the plane in Vegas, and then we ended up staying there the night. So then you got to figure out your hotel situation, your next flight. Like,
it's stressful.
All those things. So it is stressful. But imagine figuring that out for 25 people. Oh, hell no.
Because that was stressful for just Malia and I trying to figure out how we're gonna get back home by ourselves. Like, I can't imagine how stressful that would be.
Yeah.
And that's just life, though. Sometimes people just don't put themselves in other people's shoes. I don't think it's just an influencer thing, obviously. I just think it's heightened because of the opportunities that influencers get. They just get accustomed and used to that lifestyle.
Okay, another assumption is a lot are out of touch with reality, prices of things, and normal day-to-day lives. And then someone said, not y'all, of course. That's so funny. Love you, girl.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Again, a stereotype for a reason. Not everybody, but I would say, yeah.
I think that's the cool thing about being a content creator and influencer. There's people from so many different backgrounds.
Yes.
Like at events, you can meet somebody from a different country. Like, it's really cool because content creation isn't just one way.
Yeah.
You can really do whatever type of content. It
brings a lot of people together. Like, there's, like you were saying, there's a lot of really cool people that I've met, and it's just like really interesting, fun conversations that you get to have with these people and like learn about their life and like, you know, where they came from and all those things. So it's like there's a lot. Everyone can do social media, so you can meet anybody.
I think it's cool too because a lot of influencers are very well traveled. So I love hearing stories about like their favorite places that they've traveled to or like cultures that they really liked.
Yeah.
And like immerse themselves in. Those types of things like I love talking about.
Yes.
To shortly answer your assumption, yes.
Yeah. Because like a lot of influencers don't end up paying for things. PR, like you get a lot of, you know, bougie makeup products or skincare products sent to you.
Because there's been times where I have rebought a product that I got in PR and I was shocked at the price.
Yeah, because some of them are like higher end makeup products and I was like, wow, this is so nice, and
I need this again. I used it to so the
I go
last
to
drop.
Sephora and I'm like, wait, this is $90. That's insane. Like,
oh my gosh, for a moisturizer or like whatever it is, an anti-aging cream, like dang.
So it's crazy, but yeah, I mean, like you're getting gifted things all the time. You could definitely get out of touch.
What's the next assumption?
Let's see. Ooh, that some are rude.
I think what Malia said in the beginning, we haven't had that many bad encounters with people. Like,
most people have been really nice.
Most people are really, really, really nice.
There are one-offs, though. We've experienced some one-offs, but honestly, I would say it's more rare than common.
Because, for one, if you're a ladder climber and you're trying to get to the next spot, there's people that could try to take a scenario and turn it into a video and try to get clout from it. So, for example, like the top dogs, the people who are, you know, super, super famous on social media, you see a lot of videos about people being like, I met this person and it was a terrible experience. I never trust those videos because that could be a ladder climber, someone trying to get to the next spot and trying to get clout from using this person's name, likeness, and identity.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe they did have a bad experience with them. Maybe that person had a bad day, or
social media it's not real life. So a lot of it is like highlight reels. A lot of it is made to look a certain way when like you don't really truly know these people. So it's hard to know from a video. Like, and people make stuff up all the time because, you know, they're jealous or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But like, it's just so unnecessary to make up a story like that. But we have had encounters where people have not been the nicest. Usually you can tell from the videos still. Like Kenzie and I'm like, you know, I could have expected that.
Clocked it. Like, honestly, yeah. I'm like, I would have guessed that they would have not been nice. I think usually, like we said earlier, if you think someone's going to be nice, they usually are. Because you can tell in their videos.
Yeah.
I think it's harder to fake a personality than people think. Obviously, I know people do it. But most people are coming up as themselves on social media, I think. I like to think that way, but you never know.
Next assumption someone has is you pre-recorded videos and then post them a couple days later. Yes. Yeah. I think a lot of people do that just because then you want to have time to edit it. Like, it's a little bit harder to post in real time unless it's like a very quick video that doesn't take a lot of your time to actually edit the video. But it's doable. It just depends on your schedule. It depends on,
like you said, too, how long the video is. Mm-hmm. For example, like our Get Ready With Me videos are usually an hour long. So it takes me time to edit those down to a 1-minute video.
Right.
Or like a hair braiding video, for example, might be 4 hours of footage on my phone.
Right.
So yes, I have 0 storage on my phone.
Versus like if you were to pick up your phone and like lip sync a video, you could post that right then and there. Like you don't have to like batch create that.
Right.
But certain types of content require certain things.
One thing I don't love though, I prefer posting not too far off.
Yes.
So like if we filmed a video last night, I'll try to post it today.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, we did this 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But
it's within a couple days.
But I think one thing I don't love to do is batch creating. For some people will film a week's worth of content in one day. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I'd rather live somewhat in real time or close to it. That way it's not like, oh, we filmed like 3 different outfits, 3 different days in one day.
Yeah.
Actually, for the Style Wars, someone commented that because we did we did a BTS content creation, content creator day in our life at Coachella. All 3 days of Coachella, we wanted to get a recap video of all of our outfits, but we forgot to film the first 2 days.
So we just got back into our outfits and made the video.
Yeah.
But, you know, for some people, it does work. Like, I've heard certain influencers, like, they'll batch create their content in, like, a couple days for the rest of the week, and it works for them. I feel like for us, it just, like...
It doesn't.
We'd rather just not do it.
Yeah, because I think... So someone had commented, and they were like, oh, did you guys film all of the Get Ready With Me's and all of the Style Wars in one day? And I was like, oh, no. Like, we filmed all of those each individual day. Yes. Like, because we wouldn't want to... I think that gets into the acting territory. You know? It's like, oh, you're pretending that this is a day.
That's not... No, I mean, that's not that
For
bad.
me, I would feel that way.
Yeah. Well, especially because Coachella is very timely. Versus, like, other things where it's like, you don't really need to know what day it is.
Exactly.
Because Coachella is like, okay, it's a specific weekend. Everyone knows there's a lot kind of surrounding it. So there's certain events where it's like, okay, it's time to post on that day.
Versus a recap video of all of our outfits. It's not like we're pretending that. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like,
exactly.
It's just we needed to get all the outfits in a certain angle, so.
There was other questions that we got that weren't really assumptions. It was more so advice about social media, which I feel like we did give a little bit of advice in this episode, but there was more questions about content creation in general. So I feel like we could make a part 2 to this.
Yeah,
to this episode.
I'd be so down. I feel like there's a lot to kind of unpack because there are so many assumptions about like what goes on behind the camera, what influencers are really like, what a day in the life kind of looks like as a content creator. Right. So I'd be definitely down to talk about this again and maybe do a part 2.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Okay. Yeah, because, you know, Malia and I can yap. We did the whole episode.
Yeah.
We ran a little bit over time. So, we'll be back. We'll be back for a part 2 to talk about this.
Yeah, with some more information and answering your guys' questions about social media, how to actually get started, all of those things we can talk about in a separate video. Yeah. But thank you guys so much for watching.
Or listening.
Yes.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram. Mine is KenzieGrace_.
And mine is Malia Alexis_. And make sure to follow Big Sis Energy with 2 Ys on Instagram.
And then also in the link below, we have a Google Forms link. You guys can type in some questions, scenarios, if you guys need any advice. We have a Help Us Out segment on most, if not all, of our podcast episodes. So we will either shout you guys out or leave y'all anonymous if you don't want to be shouted out. But if you guys have questions that you want answering, Malia and I will help us this out. So leave those down below in the Google Forms link, and we'll see y'all next Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.